Welcome back to Music Mindfulness. I'm Kalani, your host and teacher, and I'm excited to bring back this as a podcast. So you might be listening to this as a podcast via Spotify. You could also be listening to and or watching this because it is a live video that I will also post on my channel, Kalani Das YouTube channel, and also on our Patreon page, patreon.com/Kalani. Music Mindfulness podcasts are also presented unscripted, without notes, from my consciousness to yours. And I want to thank you for joining me. So what is Music Mindfulness about? Music Mindfulness is a examination of how we can leverage the power of music to improve not just our mindfulness practice, although there are a lot of similarities between music making and mindfulness, and I'll get to those a little bit later, but also just what I call universal spirituality. And spirituality and philosophy are things I've always been interested in. So after practicing those things and music for most of my life, I decided I'll share my perspective, and if it's useful to you, that's great. So that's why I'm here doing this. Also, it doesn't matter if you have a specific religious practice or not, or if you're like me and you take a little bit of everything and kind of create your own spiritual practice, you're welcome to be here. So that's what we're here for, just to help everybody to be be more how you want to be and feel more how you want to feel. Because like music, life is an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic experience, and it's about feeling. It's about beautiful moments, and it's about navigating life in a way that is functional and healthful, and hopefully in a way that feels good. And even though not every moment in life feels good, but overall navigating life in a way that seems to make sense and that overall is a positive. So that's my goal. That's my goal for myself, and it's my goal for you as a listener of the podcast. So thanks for joining us. What is music mindfulness? Let me review some of the ideas. So as a musician, I've been practicing music most of my life. And as I mentioned, I've really been studying mindfulness for probably most of my life at this point also. And I realized after about 30 years of studying both that they're really the same thing in a lot of ways. Both ask us to take some time to be still or silent or listen or pay attention without judgment or coloring the world with our own beliefs or thoughts. Both ask us to integrate our mind and our body and the external world in a way that is gentle and peaceful and harmonious and creates serenity and just good feelings. And I think both music and mindfulness have that shared goal of enjoying not only the art and the aesthetic of the world, but also to help us create relationships with it. We're not isolated. And one of the things that music has certainly taught me over many, many years is that it just offers so many opportunities for me to not only connect with myself, not only to connect with my environment and other musicians and people, but to just connect with everybody and everything. Because all of nature, and one could say all of the universe, is really one song. And in fact, what does the word universe mean? Well, if you take it literally from the Greek, it means one song, the universe. So yes, it is one song, and we're in it, and we're also making that song and making all the elements, creating all of the music that is our life. So some of the things that we will study and discuss and present in music mindfulness have to do with music, because there's so many lessons in music, from listening, paying attention, valuing the silence and the stillness and the moments that are in between the notes, just like the moments between your thoughts, so to speak, the silence and stillness that is a container for the manifested world in so many ways, and the fabric of the unified field. It has a stillness and a quiet beingness to it. And so we honor that, and we can learn from that. We can use that. At the same time, of course, elements like melody and rhythm and timbre and dynamics and form, all of things that we can talk about in musical terms, we can also learn from those things, those elements, and apply them to our spiritual lives, whether that's within a mindfulness context or just in general in the aesthetic of life, and also in the relationship creating moments and opportunities that we have throughout our life. Part of my teaching also has to do with bringing together some teachings from, of course, all other teachers, everyone that I could learn from. So we're also going to be looking at things like, what is our mind? What's it good at? What is it not so good at? How should we really use our minds? And maybe what should we not rely on our minds for so much? Or how can we actually create a more functional and healthy relationship with our minds? That's one of my goals. And we'll talk more about that into the future. We can also learn about the nature of our mind in terms of what I consider to be, I sometimes call it the holographic mind, or the constellation, if you will, of thoughts and memories and feelings and all the things that are involved in creating our own response to the world, whether that's memories or trauma or dreams or goals or beliefs. How do we use all those things? How can we manage them effectively, recognizing certain patterns and maybe redirecting certain thought processes, or just noticing certain dynamic events that occur in our mind, bodies, and our emotions, and then understanding why those things come up so we can better navigate and not get thrown off track, or just placed, not get thrown off track or placed in a mood or a position, or adopting different views that are overall just not how we want to feel. They might cause us some harm, and we might be doing that to ourselves. For example, people that worry a lot, which is imagining a negative outcome for the future, right? That's all worrying is. Some people say it's praying for what you don't want. Well, whatever it is, however you define it, we don't want to do that. So how do we stop doing that? I have some suggestions for you. How do we recognize and heal trauma? Now, while I'm not a therapist in the sense of a psychotherapist, I have tools that I use, that I've developed, that work for me, and I'm happy to share them with you. And if they can work for you, great. So that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up and the podcast with just a message that I hope you're well. And the goal of Music Mindfulness is to help us do better. And right now, it's completely free. If you'd like to connect with me more, or if you'd like to chip in, which is an option, you can do that at patreon.com/Kalani. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can click a link. Hopefully there'll be something in the description so you can come over and join us at Patreon. But wherever you are and whatever you're comfortable with, if it's just listening, that's great. It is helpful if you can leave a positive review, and of course share the Music Mindfulness podcast with your friends or anyone you think could benefit from these kind of teachings. And again, these are talks that are unscripted. These are just directly from my heart and spirit to yours. So if you'd like to connect with me more and leave a kind word or review or share it, that would be wonderful. The goal is just to help. All right, so we'll wrap this up. Enjoy the music. If you'd like to see a video of me playing the flute over this backing track, you can do that. I'll leave a link below to that video. Until next time, I hope you have some wonderful moments for yourself, Thanks for watching.